Some of those power standards, and then the assignments tend to be focused on one or more of those power standards, and then students may receive multiple grades for the same assignment. Does that make sense? Here's an example of my grade book. It's kind of hard to see. I just wanted you to be able to see that when you do that, when you categorize them by standard, there's like a color difference at the top of the grade book, which is kind of helpful, just in general. So I just kind of want to have a quick screenshot of that. I also have been trying to get students to be a little more self-evaluative when it comes to their progress through the standards throughout the quarter. So I pulled out the standards. It's kind of hard to see. Pulled out the big power standards at the top, and I had them, I say self-evaluate. I would sit next to them and we'd go through, and if on a particular assignment they had shown mastery, they put a check. If they had not shown mastery, they put an X. So it was just a little kind of visible and physical exercise of, hey, these are the standards we're going through, and this is how you perform. I also had them, you can't quite see it, but some of these have highlighted sections, so I had them predict which one, based on their pre-assessments, which of the standards they felt they were lowest and highest in. So it wasn't necessarily, I have mastered the standard versus I haven't mastered the standard, but which I feel best about, which I feel not as good about. So in terms of the standards, I think they performed well on. The grammar usage and convention standards, L1 and 2, I thought they did pretty well on. Typically they know they have issues in this particular standard, so when they go to turn something in formally, they take a lot more time in making sure that their things are correct. And they already kind of have a vocabulary for a lot of these things. They know they have to capitalize, punctuate. They don't always do it, but they at least know they have to. So sometimes they can easily correct it. But I did notice kind of a large gap between the lower performers. There are some students who, the lowest performers tend to not know these rules are not. They don't demonstrate their knowledge that some of these rules exist. Paragraphs, sentences, capitalization, punctuation. Anyway, but that's only the lowest ones. There's only a few students that kind of demonstrate that. And we talk about citing and evaluating textual evidence all the time. This is something they still show a lot of just need for support. And a lot of it, it's just a matter of acknowledging their need to develop those skills. Like, they need to understand, I do not know how to demonstrate mastery of and showing, citing, and evaluating textual evidence. They know they need textual evidence, but they don't necessarily know if it's good textual evidence or if it matches their points. And also, I don't know how much they connect the classroom tasks we do involving textual evidence and the milestone type task for textual evidence. Other observations, students often have difficulty conceptualizing the way I use standards-based grading. I think this is just maybe from lack of experience in that I repeat and I repeat kind of how I view it and how I do the standards-based process, but they don't always necessarily know that, or just show that they know that. And also, they perform better at the start and end of the quarter, but don't always complete assignments in the middle of the quarter. And then I just got my milestone results this morning. These are very preliminary results. So last year was we had 26% developing or higher, with 0% proficient, and then just based on my initial calculations, at least for my class, 33% developing or higher and 3% proficient, which is a student.
All right.
And that's kind of halfway to our 41% goal. So one of the things I want to do, next steps, I want students to be a little more reflective and self-evaluative. I tried, I made some steps towards that back on my data wall. I would actually sit back there with them and do the checks and X's and the highlights and stuff like that. But I just wanted them I wanted them to know what they're doing with that. I want to do more of that kind of stuff. I do want to develop some weekly diagnostics that mirror the format of the milestones. And also just look a little bit more closely at the quarter 2 milestone data. But what I thought I might like to do, I'd like to kind of create one of these little, since this is about the most detailed information I've got, I'd like to kind of do a predictive, like put their names over here on the side and go and predict their scores and their levels.
Based on what?
Well, just based on their performance and on the standards throughout the course.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot of it, some of it's surprising, some of it's not. So, Dr. Willie,
It should be surprising.
We were all talking about telling the test what the scores are going to be versus.
Then the test tell you.
Right. So now that I kind of have just sort of a general framework of kind of how things are going to come back, I want to kind of move in that direction. So that's about it.
The next step.
Any questions?